This is Skillings Mining Review, your social media community.
Today's stream is brought to you by
C.R. Meyer, your industrial general contractor, building your vision since 1888. Tell us about your projects at crmeyer.com.
Naylor Pipe. Tell us about your spiral weld pipe, piling, fabrication, lock seam spiral weld pipe, and connections projects at naylorpipe.com.
The evaluation of an employee's behavior qualities and character traits is known as behavioral competency. These competencies can be characterized in a variety of ways depending on the business, but they all revolve around people skills, managerial skills, and achievement skills. Certain behavioral competencies work better for certain positions, and these markers will help determine whether a candidate will be successful in the position he or she is applying for. A candidate applying for a managerial position, for example, should have strong achievement and development-related competencies. Change management is a method for moving people or organizations from one state to another while managing and monitoring change. Companies that plan ahead of time for the introduction, implementation, and implications of big organizational changes can stay ahead of the game. The ability to perceive, appraise, and manage one's own and others' emotions is referred to as emotional intelligence. For individuals working in human resources, emotional intelligence is a must-have ability. Unbiased recruiting allows us to see people's potential. In addition, it contributes to a stable labor market. Our unbiased recruitment method aids us in identifying personnel with the necessary competencies. As a result, firms will profit from improved competition and diversity in the workplace.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are very pleased to welcome to the Skillings News Moment People and Communication Manager with OZ Minerals, Mr. Rinaldo Dantas, a human resource professional managing, recruiting, compensation, benefits, and wellness programs within the mining companies. Hello, Mr. Rinaldo.
Hello everyone.
So the employee engagement has been defined as a method to improve an employee's feelings and emotional attachment to the company, duties, and company culture. So can you please tell us why is the employee engagement important in the culture of COVID?
Yeah, of course. Firstly, I would like to say that I'm really glad to be with you talking about some questions, some issues that are very important. In this case, I think one of fundamental points when it comes to engagement is to make that every single goal something that makes sense to employees. Engagement was already something discussed and followed carefully by attentive managers to this human need as a differential factor for managing people more effectively. COVID, of course, brought us elements who needs rose sharply. In addition to dealing with conflicts, expectations about a professional career, mentoring, coaching, we need to act in a very cozy way. It was the moment when companies began to have an even greater need to know the individual, and the human resources area increasingly supported managers to change the concept that their teams are not resource but people. Hearing their anxieties, their perceptions, their frustrations, knowing how their family members are doing, making room for a balanced lifestyle, valuing life even more, are elements that have become part of the leader's checklist. And many, unfortunately, lost jobs during this tragic period in the society, but also many lost friends, relatives, and co-workers. If people are not followed carefully it the same in the same way as professional in companies. None of the values preached by companies will make sense. And if they don't, the emotional bond weakens, and as a result, engagement does not occur.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dantas. So, as we see, after 5 weeks of declines, jobless claims rose unexpectedly earlier this month in some sectors. Economists expect consumer confidence to show an increase. What's the mood of the employers and hiring managers in the copper mining industry?
Yes, okay. I believe that their mood is still positive. Copper is a metal widely used and required for many important applications. For example, you can see the electrical equipment, electronic, new technology industries. When talking about Brazil's economic activities, it is impossible not to mention the growth of mining as an essential component. In 10 years, the development of mineral extraction was 550% in the country. From 2014 to 2018, investment in the area was around 48 billion euros with potential for expansion. Brazilian mineral industry had the best performance among economic sectors in the context of the pandemic with growth in all the states in addition to iron ore producers. In the period, exports increased 11% and reached the mark of 37 billion reais with 371 million tons in shipments. The trade balance grew by 28% with a surplus of $32 million. With more than 3,000 mines spread across the national territory here in Brazil, Brazil is the one of the five largest mineral producers in the world. In this way, we are going a little against this employment statistic. And in fact, we are currently facing some difficulties in finding professionals to work in this segment. Therefore, the mood of the managers and ours as mining professional, we are very excited and optimistic about employability. We are indeed happy to contribute to improving the lives of many who are even migration from the segment coming to mining.
So we notice the industries strive to be more inclusive, but unfortunately, unconscious bias training continues to appear on companies' agendas. So can you tell us what are the tools and techniques that assist HR professionals and companies to attract and select great diverse candidates while minimizing or removing unconscious bias from the hiring process?
Well, this is an important thing to discuss. I think there are many strategies to help mitigate unconscious biases. One important way is to digitize the recruitment and selection process. This can do a long way towards ensuring that more steps are supported by the technology. This will help a lot of things to eliminate triage errors, more metrics for analysis and more impartiality throughout the process, even though we have the participation of the managers. Because when they get the CV screened, they get them according to the position descriptions and requirements, which were established and agreed upon beforehand. There are several companies on the market that provide this type, from startups to traditional software companies that are reinventing themselves to deliver a module fully compliant with this issue. But that alone, of course, is not enough. We need to ensure that managers understand that the gains are huge when you have a diverse team. Convergence for diversity is extremely rich in delivery results.
Thank you, Mr. Dantas. So usually a closed process within an organization, succession planning identifies developing new leaders to replace impending gaps. What can you tell those employees on what critical job skills to invest in to improve opportunities and to those who have been selected or those not likely to know that they are on a succession list?
Well, in the corporate world, being a leading professional or a leading professional means that you take responsibility for the evolution of your own career. In other words, you don't let your professional development depend only on the company or its manager. Uh, on the opposite, you assume responsibilities, have a commitment to deliveries, and self confidence to make decisions. Some companies have a corporate university in different formats, but all of them use a hybrid teaching style, sometimes mixing online and face-to-face activities for various training and qualification courses and improvement in hard and soft skills. Investing in the team is a practice that raises the level of attractiveness and business result, of course. However, all of these things unanimous in stating that they want to take the lead. Those who have already understood this process have taken the lead and stood out. And when we assess our people, these are usually those who are perceived as successors or high potentials. Therefore, the message I always leave for our people is very simple. Be yourself the protagonist of our own career.
Thank you, Mr. Dantas. The unemployed, underemployed, and the looking all share some level of workforce development and work-life balance. Where do those lines intersect, and what is the message to those currently in one or more of these phases?
Yeah, very interesting thing. I think it's very simple and you can summarize them. First one is do your self-managed knowledge. Another question you can do for you, how prepared are you for this self-learning scenario? And do you think the company has to take you by the hand and show you what to do to keep yourself employable? And the last one is, do you assess the market and study trends to know what you need to know today and what you will need to learn tomorrow? And this last topic for me is very interesting, especially if you know yourself very well. The way to search a job or even a replacement has changed, and it has been a while. Therefore, assess your posture, how much you know yourself, study and invest in your self development. This can be as important as the college where you study or studied. After all, learning never ends, and professionals who understand long life learning are doing very well in the job market.
Thank you. People and Communication Manager, Mr. Rinaldo Dantas of OZ Minerals with us on the Skillings Mining Moment. I want to thank you personally for your time and we do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mr. Dantas.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Today's stream is brought to you by
C.R. Meyer, your industrial general contractor, building your vision since 1888. Tell us about your projects at crmeyer.com.
Naylor Pipe. Tell us about your spiral weld pipe, piling, fabrication, lock seam spiral weld pipe, and connections projects at naylorpipe.com.